Proteins. Today we're going to talk about proteins. This is for you grade 11 and 12. This is chemistry for both grades. Okay, so last time we talked about carbohydrates and lipids. Today we're going to talk about protein. A protein is a biological polymer. Polymer means that it's formed of many units. It is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, as we said, for all of them. And then what we have added in the case of protein is nitrogen. So protein is formed carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and added to them is nitrogen, and this is what allows it to be protein. Our bodies are mostly made out of proteins. Let's see here. Okay, so your hair and nails are protein. Your blood is formed of a very important protein called hemoglobins. The enzymes that are present inside your body to allow for digestion, to allow for many reactions in your body to happen, they are proteins. All of your muscles are made up of proteins. This is why when you exercise and you want to build up muscle, you're always required to have more proteins. The antibodies present in your body are protein. So our bodies are mostly formed of proteins. The most abundant protein in your body is collagen. Collagen is the protein that makes up most of your skin and bones. Also, your hair has a very important protein which is called keratin. Proteins in muscles, they allow the muscles, of course, to contract, making body movement possible. Different proteins, they have different physical structures. For example, the casein in milk and ovalbumin that's present in the egg whites and the hemoglobin in blood are all water soluble. Water soluble means that they dissolve in water. While others like keratin, which is present in the hair, they are flexible solids. Keratin and collagen are flexible solids. All these proteins, they are formed of basic units which are called amino acids. Amino acids, they are the building blocks of proteins, as when we talked about the sugars, they are the building blocks of carbohydrates. Where do you get proteins? We have animal sources of proteins and we have plant sources for protein. So the animal sources of protein, of course, they include the meat, the milk, the eggs, and for the plant sources, it mainly includes the seeds and the beans. Now we're going to talk about the structure of protein. So when we say amino, it refers to the NH2 group of atoms. Amino means that it contains a group of atoms which is NH2. The organic acids have the carboxylic group COOH. Thus the amino acids, they are compounds that both have NH2 and COOH. All the proteins that are present in your body, they are formed of 20 basic amino acids. So the amino acids that are present in your body are 20. These are the basic amino acids. Their distribution and their arrangement leads to the formation of the protein. Okay, all of these amino acids, they have a certain basic structure and then it has a side chain. As we said before, the side chain is a chemical group that differs from one amino acid to another. The reactions by which the proteins are made from amino acids is similar to the condensation that we talked about in carbohydrates. The biological polymer that forms and that leads at the end to the formation of amino acids is called polypeptide. So again, amino refers to the group NH2. Okay, amino refers to the group NH2. Okay, this is the first part. And we have 20 amino acids that form all the proteins that are present in your body. Each of the protein has a side chain. A side chain is a chemical group that differs from one amino acid to another. The properties and the interactions of the side chains, the properties of a part of a polypeptide chain depends on the properties of the side chains that are present. Okay, so if the side chain is acidic, this means that this amino acid is going to be more acidic. if the side chain of another polypeptide chain is basic, this means that it's going to be basic. Okay, some amino acid chains can form ionic or covalent bonds. These bonds also link different points on a protein. Weaker interactions can affect how segments of proteins interact with one another. So remember that the side chains are going to decide a lot of the properties of the protein we're talking about. We have 4 levels of protein structures. Here, as we said, that the amino acids, they lead to the formation of proteins. We have a total of 20 amino acids that form all the proteins that are present in your body. Here, some amino acids, they have polar and non-polar, and some amino acids, according to the side chain, they could be more acidic, they could be more basic. As we said that the side chain in any protein is going to decide how these proteins are going to interact chemically. There are 4 levels of protein structures. Proteins are not just long polypeptide chains. Because of the interactions of the side chains and other forces, each protein usually folds up into a unique shape. The 3-dimensional shape that the chain forms give characteristic properties to each protein. If a polypeptide chain folds into a wrong shape, it is going to function differently. So, in the case of proteins, the shape is going to decide how this protein will act. The levels of protein structures, it can be a primary structure. The amino acid sequence of the polypeptide chain is usually the primary structure. Okay, most proteins have segments in which the polypeptide chain is coiled or folded. These coils and folds are often held in place by hydrogen bonding. So, again, the structure of the 3D structure of the protein is going to decide how this protein will act chemically. Okay? So, the coils and folds are held in place by hydrogen bonds. They give the protein its secondary structure. So, primary structure is the amino acid sequence of polypeptide chain. Then the secondary structure, we have 2 common types of secondary structures. We have what we call the alpha helix, and we have the beta pleated sheet. Okay? And then we have a tertiary structure of the protein, and finally a quaternary structure. So there are 4 levels of protein structures, and they affect how this protein acts. If there is a change in the structure, there will be a change in the protein behavior within your body. Also, amino acid substitution can affect the shape, and subsequently it is going to affect how the protein acts. Again, we have a certain number of amino acids. If these amino acids are supposed to make a certain type of proteins, and any of these amino acid has been changed, it is going to lead to the change of the actual protein that's resulting, and subsequently it is going to change the function of the protein. The most common example for this is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is a genetic blood disease. Okay, as blood circulates in your body, the hemoglobin in the red blood cells is responsible for picking up oxygen and for delivering it to the cells. People with sickle cell anemia, they have blood cells that are not rounded. Okay, they are not disc shaped like our cells. They have a crescent shape. Okay, and this is why we call it a sickle shape. Because these cells, they are not disc shaped, they are less efficient at carrying oxygen. And also they tend to clump together. So they clump together, they lead to blockage of the arteries that they circulate through. The cause of sickle cell shape lies in the amino acid sequence of the polypeptide. In sickle cell hemoglobin, the 6th amino acid in the polypeptide chains is valine. In healthy hemoglobin, it is glutamic acid. The change of one amino acid in the whole sequence leads to a disease that is called sickle cell anemia. This is all what we're talking about concerning protein today, and next session we're going to be talking about enzymes and nucleic acid.